And I remember when they came down, I think from Perry Hall, where the people come down to talk about building this stuff. Buck Lawrence was very uh, instrumental in building this because he brought, the people knew him and they come down. They came down to Crab House and they wanted to build Optimist Club of St. Mary's County. And before they left there that night, we decided we were going to build an Optimist Club of the 7th District. Of course, they said it couldn't be done, but like 3 or 4 weeks later, 4 or 5 weeks later, we chartered with, I think, 43 members.
And that was in April of '68.
And now I think we got, 7 charter members left?
Yeah, I'm not sure, but it's not many.
Yeah.
But we do have 130 members.
Yeah, we got a whole lot more members, but it's, but we have, I think it's 7 charter members that are still living. So. But 40-some years, you're gonna see 40-some more years, I'll probably be gone.
Yeah, and you served as president.
I've served as president, the 3rd president, and then I served as lieutenant governor under Jimmy Bevins when he was governor.
I've asked each of your other brothers and sisters about the closeness of your family. You want to make a comment on that too?
Well, I can't say, no, except, when we were kids, we might have had some arguments. I don't believe that our family, since we've been grown, has ever had an argument. We just don't argue. We don't mess with each other. We go see each other. We go where we're invited, and but we're all very close. And like I say, well, one's got everybody's got. Bo brought it up a while ago about working out that one checkbook. We had different checkbooks, but they're all in First National Bank. If you wrote out a big check, you make sure when it goes through, you put a damn thing call the bank and tell them you wrote that one out because it didn't stay in the bank long. If I needed some, I didn't have it, I'd ask my Bo's account or Bartle's account. If either one of them had it, we'd take it out of there. They did the same thing, so you never knew if you had any money in the account, no matter how much business you would do it. But it all worked out. I guess it all evened out. But we do the same thing. If either one of them needed a dime now. Bo said no, could get Lucy and Cat to get in on that deal. They didn't know to give us a checkbook, but I bet we could get it if we needed it.
What would you like to say to your children and grandchildren about the future?
Well, you always want to stay close with your family and treat everybody right. There's no reason to mistreat anybody. And like Bo says, you don't have to be hoggish. My father gave away more than half people in the 7th District made, but it didn't hurt. We've never missed a meal for it, and I don't think our family will ever miss a meal by giving to the community. And we do have a lot of good organizations in the community that you can give to, and a lot of good people in the community that sometimes need things.
Okay. And Bernard, last but not least, please give us your date of birth and where your family was living when you were born.
February 8th, 1939, and they were still living down in River Springs on the water. And very shortly after that, I don't know, a few months, they moved up to where Cat's house is now.
Okay, and who were some of your classmates and your neighbors up at the new house?
Well, you had George Hall and Lucy and them, Betty, were neighbors, the Suits across the road. And probably only other ones come to my mind is Sonny Lacey and Aloysius and them down there. They all went to Holy Angels, and so they've been neighbors there.
Ambrose Knott.
Yeah, and Ambrose Knott's children. Harry Pelton lived across the road for a while.
You attended Holy Angels?
Holy Angels School.
And where did you attend high school, and who were some of your friends there?
I went to St. Mary's Academy for 1 year, and I knew everything they could teach me there, so I went up to Charlotte Hall to teach them some stuff up there. So at St. Mary's Academy 1 year I was over there. You had Dot Bell, Betty Lou, Russell, Harris, and that was about it from the 7th. Charles Gass, but one's from the 7th. And then I went to Charlotte Hall for the next 3 years. And 'cause you were in the class there, and you had Whit Rogers and the Lions from Dunkirk, and Kenny Millstrip, and Indian Head, from all over, and a lot of them there from all over the country.
And when and where did you meet your future wife Judy, and when did you get married?
Another probably at Wigwam over Compton, and married, I think, 58, 57, 58, something like that. Don't remember the dates.
Wigwam. Yeah, you have one child. Can you give us his name?
Tony, and they're married, and he's got 3 children and 4 grandchildren now.
What was your favorite car that you owned during that time?
I would say one I didn't have no payments on, but I didn't have none of those. Probably the 55 Chevrolet. Probably my favorite one.
And you also work together with your family in the business, and what did you all work together as, and also what other businesses have you owned and operated?
Well, I worked at Bayless Express while the captain had it, basically while we went to school, and then I worked for Bob Jameson there, bought it for a while. Then I came back down with Bill and Captain and him in the seafood businesses. And then over the years I had some other business, some of them did all right, some didn't do so hot. You know, had Bayless, started up Bayless Express again, and then we had Sullivan, the sanitation company. That's about it.
And you certainly were one of the founding people of the 7th District Optimist Club. Do you want to make a comment about that?
Yeah, I'll tell you how we how that came about. Bill Blevins from Prairie Hall came down. Bill was a friend of Bill Herbert's. Both of them were assessors, and because Bill was very good at delegating that work. So instead of Bill coming around, he sent Buck Lawrence. Buck was working over there as, I guess, assistant tax assessor at the time. So he called me and came over to the carrier where we were, and then we went on 80s, and then the biggest thing about forming the Optimist Club is we have plenty of members, but they would have some nice parties. They weren't in too big of a hurry, you know. I mean, those meetings last till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning.
Amazing what age will do.
I'm glad I don't have to drink that much today.
Each of the others have mentioned a reason for the closeness of your brothers and sisters. Can you make a comment on that?
Yeah, basically, we were there for one another. I know I had the businesses. I was overdrawn probably 90% of the time. And the bank would call me, and I said, well, wait until about 10 o'clock. I see what comes in the mail. And if there's nothing come in the mail, I'd call Bo, Eddie, one another, see if they had anything. If I couldn't get a hold of them, I'd get the girls in bookkeeping to check their accounts. Yeah, just switch it, you know. But you can't do that today. I knew exactly how long you could float them checks then. If they lock you up for kiting checks, I would have been in jail. I'm gonna tell you that.
And then, when did you meet your future wife Shirley, and when were you married, and where?
Shirley, you know, probably through softball. She was married to Sonny, and we played softball a lot. And they had separated, so I met her probably in like 1971 or 2, and we've been married 30 years this year. So New Year's Eve was 30 years, so I didn't have no gray hair until I met her either. She worked on me.
What would you like your son and grandchildren to remember about you and your family and so on?
Well, I'd just like to see them to be involved in community. You know, I think like our family has. I mean, you know, to give back to the community and try to. It's not always easy. You know, sometimes some of these events not exactly what you want to do, but it's always somebody out there that needs some help. And right in this district, we got a lot of people here that could use help that we don't even know about.
One thing that I certainly will remember from this is that they all pretty much say the same thing about why they have been so close together, and they keep mentioning community, and I think that is a really big part of this, is they have been community people. Okay, we'll have a little bit of a round robin here now to try to remember some of the little stories and tricks of the trade that you had when you were coming along with let's start out with Kat over here. Tell me a tale about how Mr. Net brought you all up and so on.
Well, when Mama said do something, you did it. And Mama tell you to stop, you stopped. She didn't give you a second chance. Mama was short, but she had the longest arm of any person going. She'd take that old hand and, I mean, she'd slap you and you would roll. But you listened, she was a good mom. I was telling Beverly, I shouldn't tell this story. Bo and I, because one of us got in trouble, the other did. We were sitting at the house one day. Lucille went down to the well and get some water. Bo and I said, let's see who can cuss her the most. That wasn't smart. So we called a few names, because by the time she got back to the house, here come Mama. You'll come out of here. And you know what happened. Bo and I got whipped. We didn't deserve it, did we?
How about Bo? What do you tell me something?
We were asking about Christmas. What I remember about Christmas was after we moved up the house where Kat lives now. What Christmas Eve, you always had a good big crowd, family there. That's when
Children and grandchildren.
Children and grandchildren would fill that room up, opening those presents. That's something that I always enjoyed a whole lot,
Yes.
and they can remember it from way back.
Did you have a little drink then? Or?
At times, yeah, we'd have one.
But Mom and Dad had 6 of us, and because our in-laws, and we had 22 grandchildren at the time that would be there on Christmas Eve. And Mom, one year she got Charlie Hall to play Santa Claus, and he bought the little grandchildren, one of the kids got a wagon, and of course he bought the Christmas presents in by the wagon for the little children. That was a big Christmas.
No, Charlie's the same one. His brother was killed over
Yeah.
there. Yeah. That's on the store. How about you, Lucille? What can you tell us about something? Think about when you were very small.
Like I said, we didn't have a whole lot of toys. We used to get the catalog, and after we finished using it in the outhouse,
You mean like
We
the
were able
Sears
to-
or about the catalog?
yeah, so then we would cut the doll babies out, and we played with those paper dolls for hours on hours. That was our main toy. But the catalog was used other places too. And yeah, we.
Did you and Kat fight some? Or?
I don't really
Not too
remember
much.
fighting. I don't think we fought much. Like
We
she
didn't
said,
fight, we-
better not. Mama kept order.
We didn't fight.
We sounded like Mama was terrible. She was a great mother, but we listened.
I think Kat would treat you real good. She treated me real good one day. Bo was aggravating her. And Kat threw this fork at Bo, one of these long prong forks, and it stuck right in his back.
Old folk whip.
But she treated me very nice. She was so scared I was gonna tell Mama on her. She treated me all right that day.
How about you, Eddie?
Oh my God.
Too sweet, I could do. Might as well, because you know Lucille used to tell on us a lot. I mean, she didn't mean to be that way, but that's just the way she was. And because every time she'd tell on Mama believed her, we got whipped no matter what, right or wrong. But one time Mom and Dad went to Baltimore because Lucille was scared to death of a mouse, still is. If she seen a mouse over there, she'd be gone. Well, Mom and Dad left to go to Baltimore one morning and I found a dead mouse. And I can remember now, Lucille was in the sun parlor there with her feet up on the chair, you know, sitting on her feet, doing her homework or doing something other. And I took a mouse and then laid it in front of that goddamn chair. Well, she cried and hollered. I mean, the whole day, cause I wasn't gonna move it. I didn't move it, I knew I was gonna get whipped when mom and daddy got home, but when mom and daddy got home, that mouse was still in front of that chair, she's still sitting on her feet hollering. But, you know, and cause it's, a few other things, I remember back, first time Cat made biscuits at the house.
Cat made biscuits?
Oh, yeah, mom and daddy going somewhere, Cat was, Lucille was
Oh, Cat,
already,
yeah.
Lucille was already married and going away with. Cat fixed dinner, she made some biscuits. For the Christ, I appreciate it. But them biscuits were so bad, Robert, that, I mean, we couldn't eat them. We threw them out the door. That old Snoopy was like the old dog we had. By God, he tried them. What he did is sit down, turn around and licked his red and had to get that taste out of his mouth somewhere.
A little bit heavy, huh?
They were hard.
They weren't good biscuits.
I've changed.
How about, Bert, we skipped over bees a little bit here, some of that early, part of, cause Beezy was married when you were very young.
Yeah, she'd gone for, I don't know, how old did BB now, 90?
90. She would be mid-90 July.
July, I think.
I was an altar boy when she got married, but, I mean, you Beezy was going, we were young.
Yeah.
You walked when I got married too, Annabelle.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a story on Beasley. Barnett's house, they gave Beasley what, 80th birthday?
69.
69th birthday party, because she was getting in bad shape. And, so, surprise party. So, Joan and myself and Barney and Lucille went out to pick up them.
Yeah,
I
me.
mean, you and myself. Yeah. Going down the road, sheriff got behind me because I had my drink in my hand. So I handed Luann and said, hold this for me. She dumped my drink right out down in the bottom of it, well in that truck. Got back in anyway, the sheriff passed me. He didn't want me, he wanted somebody else. Went down to Beezy's house. She was going around to a place, it was supposed to be a party for somebody else. And we went out and picked up, and I told them, I said, I'll go ahead and get a drink out of Beezy. They didn't think Beezy had any whiskey. But she fixed me another drink. Anyway, going back at that day, now she put something on them tippets. Because Richie and them were supposed to be down in the house working for her. Doing something, fixing the house. By God, they had to fool with them old boats. They were out there racing them old boats instead of doing what they had been doing. And when she got down Barnett's and opened that door and saw all them people there, and they holler happy birthday to her. By God, she changed just like that. All of them were saints. But she put something on them coming around that road, because all of them were there waiting on her.
Cat, what was, in Beezy's case, what was her illness? I mean, what?
Heart was her main illness, and she had rheumatic fever when she was very young, and that affected her heart. He was sick all the time.
She had open heart surgery back in those days when you had to have fresh blood.
That was in '62. She had that open heart surgery.
We had about 100 people to go to Baltimore that day to
give blood for her.
give blood for her. They couldn't take it all. I mean, they had to pick the ones in that had the same type.
Bernard, you got a tale you want to tell on some of these folks here?
No, they were all so much older than I was. They were all welcome along.
Nope.
I remember another one, though. I remember, because Uncle Andrew used to come down, you know, the daddy's brother, one was a Dominican brother up there, but I don't know what he is, I'm pretty sure he was taking bribes from contractors and stuff, because he was only making $30 a month and driving a new Oldsmobile every year. When television first come out, he bought us one down there as big as that couch when it first come out, so I don't really know what he was doing, but one time he come down and bought a set of boxing gloves. And of course, they made me put a set on and Barnett put a set on. Barnett could hit me all he wanted. Nobody would say nothing. I mean, I got tired of that. I jammed him a couple times. By God, and I got whipped for that. Because I shouldn't be hitting him. He's smaller than I am. By God, he was hitting me. He was hurting me.
Yeah, you wasn't going to win that one. I think it's good to comment here. You mentioned Uncle Andrew, who was a brother, and Catmull also had a sister that was a nun.
And
You want to talk about her a little bit?
Yeah, I don't know what happened to her money.
Lucille got it.
But she was in the convent for 70 years. And she got $30 a month. But she never spent nothing, so where's that money at?
I told you.
Lucille got that money.
I got the box she left behind.
Hey, she take a little drink too.
What was her full name?
Sister Catherine
Sister
Elizabeth.
Catherine Elizabeth.
Beatrice.
Beatrice was her
She
name,
was a
or his
Be-
name before she
real
went
name.
in.
Beatrice.
I guess Beezy was named after
Yeah.
her.
Yeah, Beezy probably named that.
I think her other name was Elizabeth, though, I'm not really
Sister
sure.
Catherine Elizabeth.
Yes, it's Catherine
Yeah,
Elizabeth.
we went up there, we just go up there a lot, maybe a couple times a year to see her, up in Newburgh, New York,
Yeah.
and always carried her drink. And usually carried a pint or something that she could hide. Went up there one day and she shot that pint down in that pocket, and by God, she missed it. And it bounced off that marble floor. You know, I think by God, she caught it when it come up.
It didn't break her.
It didn't even break. My God, it did bounce off that floor. Now, she wasn't long putting that away, hiding it.
What she tell you about them black nuns?
She had been in the convent a long time. We were up there one day and they had this little colored or black novice, you know. And she said, you gotta watch her. She'll steal. She didn't like blacks.
No, she was coming along at a different time.
Different time, you know,
Yeah.
she left here probably in 1920,
Yeah.
or maybe
You know,
before.
we didn't know, because there was still a lot of prejudice around, but I mean, I don't ever remember when we didn't have black people with us, and we
We always
together
had-
the whole bit,
ate
I mean, we
together.
didn't know no different.
Remember?
I remember that day Daddy gave old Todd that vinegar, he thought he'd give him the whiskey.
You remember old Sarah Johnson used to
Oh,
babysit
yeah.
for us? And we had a rocking chair that would turn over with a wicker rocker. You know, if you rock real hard, it would turn over. She was babysitting for us one night. Mom and Dad went out. And Sarah was a rocking and a rocking and rocking. The chair dipped. She went backwards at the chair because, you know, we didn't laugh. So she got mad and went over to the garage and stayed, left us by ourselves. We laughed at her. But Beezy
Did
fired
you
her a
have
couple times.
like stuffed ham during the holidays?
You know, I don't remember stuff.
Oh, I remember Mama having stuff there, I'm not sure it was the holidays or not.
I tell you what I
But
do
it was
remember.
different then, like now, you stuff a ham, health department makes you cut it in half and put it in ice and all that. Mom used to stuff that ham and stick it out on the back porch the
Yeah.
next
Yeah.
day. And we still here, so that damn well it won't kill you.
That was standard procedure
Yeah,
then.
you used to leave it in the water and just leave it outside all night and it was.
I remember one winter they had a piece of beef hanging out in the old meat house. And when you wanted it, you went out there and cut it off.
Cut a piece off, yeah.
Cut a piece off and put it in the eating.
We had a lot of seafood.
Oh, yeah.
And we had a lot of soup.
We
Going
talked
on the
about-
land to come down, you had a lot of fish too, 'cause you
Yeah,
went
oh my
fishing every day.
goodness.
Yeah.
Well, Daddy was almost as bad.
We talked about Beezy and her health problems, but Miss Burnett certainly had her share of those
Yes,
problems.
she did. Young.
I certainly remember many times that I saw that she.
I doubt if you'll ever remember Mama when she was healthy.
Yeah.
Well, we used to come home from
I
school.
just kid.
I'm not kidding you. We had been home from school and Mom's been laying in the floor. We don't know how long she lay there from either stroke or heart attack. We didn't know what it was then.
Yeah.
Called Dr.
Dr. Palmer, he treated her with
Yeah,
asthma.
Go to Dr. Palmer up there, he bring her colored medicine and she'd take it. But I
But
took care of Mama's.
she believed in
I
him,
guess when I was
but he
about
was gonna
13,
run away from her too, she kept believing.
Dr.
You talking about
Dr.
Dr. Palmer?
Dr.
Yeah.
Palmer.
Yeah, Dr. Palmer gonna give you a pill.
Yeah, what color?
But you know, back in the days, it was very few people who would be 70. If you had to be 70, then you were old.
You were old.
Yeah, that's true.
Huh? Back 50, 60 years ago,
You
you didn't
old
see
now,
many people around. What?
Bird, you want to say something else about the young folks there?
Yeah, one thing I'm sorry, but I stopped drinking a whole lot of whiskey, because when I was drinking whiskey, I was smart and rich. It felt good.
You got smart when you were drinking.
We had a
I
good
think
life.
we're very fortunate.
We
Most of
had
our
a
kids
good
are very close, and most of them help out in the neighborhood. So
I think one thing all of us can be very thankful for is that our children and grandchildren so far, they haven't been in any great big trouble. They've acted okay.
Yeah, if you can get by, with raising children,
Now,
these days
and you
without
just,
problem.
and it wasn't that because we are just lucky. It wasn't what we did, but it was, and we ain't lucky that all of them are doing okay.
Tell you one, I think we're lucky we got grandchildren too.
Yeah.
But I can enjoy my grandchildren.
Oh, yes.
Truthfully, my kids come along. Christ, I mean, I didn't have time. I was 24 hours a day, 7 days a week trying to make a living because I didn't think I had enough. And I didn't either.
You didn't. You didn't have enough then either.
Now you get up in age, you know, and I can't understand. I still don't have nothing, but I got a lot of time to spend with grandkids. And I
I'm
never,
sure,
never had that time.
Captain and Mr. Net always insisted on everybody going to church.
Oh,
There's a
yeah.
question about that,
You
wasn't
didn't
there?
have to go
Well,
to
you didn't
church,
have
You
no
you
church
have a
yet.
church
You
on
only
that
home.
house on Sunday
and
morning.
Sunday morning wasn't much else going on.
And it didn't matter who else was standing there with you. You know,
They went too. They
Charlie,
went too.
Charlie Hall, Hermie Manley, Johnny P. Any of them there, they were going out of there. And Old Gum didn't open that time. So he went
Must
to
have
church.
church.
But when did Captain build and open the old gum?
1937,
36.
Okay.
December 36.
did it? Okay.
Same year it built me.
Then they built you.
But, because the house was built in 1939.
Yeah.
2 years later. And that's when the ball field was put in there. 1937, 8.
37, I think somebody said. I don't
And
know.
that's when they started capping, Old Gum Ball Field there.
It is laying ball there a long time.
He'd been playing ball on the field ever since. That's probably the oldest field in the county. I guess continuous use, wouldn't it be?
Yeah, it probably is. So do you remember some of the guys who were playing baseball back early days?
Oh, yeah, I do. I remember, the only ones I remember was Foley and Wally Jaworski and Pine and that bunch. Pine Jaworski and Tom Hodges,
Jimmy Jaworski.
Jimmy Jaworski, yeah.
Going boy down the
And
county.
you come Pinch Mattingly and come along a little later.
To Captain,
Elmo Shotwell.
Captain always had a big car, didn't
Yeah.
Yep.
You like
Well, he
those
always
Buicks?
had, he had them Buicks. First one I remember he had was 1936.
Where'd you buy a Buick in those days? Did you get it at Belmotor?
John Gardner,
John Gardner.
yeah. And he'd use them for tow truck, anything it had to be.
He would make you use yours for it too.
I like the way he handled cars though. He didn't baby him in it. Cause Eddie had a new car one day. He went out to Virginia.
That was mine.
Captain, yours.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, Captain borrowed his car. Went down there and picked up what 10 boxes of fish. Didn't have room for the back seats. They left that down there.
See that and left it
Right.
there.
Oh, no.
And that old fish water run down in that car. Yeah, you had time getting rid of that.
That certainly sounds like the captain that I remember.
And you know what kind of fish you brought back? Like good blowtoads. That good. You had good buy on them. I think we still had them when we got rid of that first food.
I can remember when Bert and I used to go back to Charlotte Hall on Sunday nights. A lot of times, Captain would drive one week and Mom and Daddy would drive next week. Anyhow, we'd be up your house and Captain would come walking out the door and Mr. Nutt was still coming. He'd turn around and holler and say, "Boots, bring my teeth."
You probably didn't wear them.
Because after they took us back to school, they always stopped in the Moonlight Club and had dinner.
I remember once Eddie because Eddie didn't drive real fast. On as fast as the cars would go, he had an accident and he had a St. Christopher medal. And somebody said, what happened to St. Christopher? He said, when I hit 100, he jumped out.
You know, with Daddy with cars, I remember I bought a brand new 55 Buick. And I hadn't had it a week. And we were in Baltimore, and one of the trucks broke down out the other side of Glen Burnie. And he told me, he says, "Get the chain there, take your car and go out and pull it in." But Dad didn't believe in no records. He had them old Buicks and something, he pulled it in, you know. So I told Daddy, I don't pull no damn truck. My brand new car. He said, "Son, she's too good for you to use. She's too good for you to have." And you know, he wasn't making payments on it. I was making payments, but I mean, I hadn't made none then. But he told me, I said, "Yes, sir. Where's the chain?" Go pull it in.
Have you ever heard where Captain, where was Captain living and Miss Burnett living before they got married? And how did he meet her?
Well, I have no idea.
I don't know how he met her, but they lived on the island when they got married. He took her there as a bride.
Well, she was now Redgate, wasn't she?
Yeah,
Yeah,
people
I think,
were
They went to
down there
Redgate
then.
for the honeymoon.
I think
Yeah.
she went to, I think Mama went to work in Washington
Washington.
sometime.
Mom worked for the
And that's
telephone
where,
company in
and
Washington.
that's where Captain met her,
Oh,
up there.
I don't know.
I don't really
Because a
know.
lot of them worked at Old Atlantic Hotel up there, them from down here. I don't think she worked there, but I don't know where she
I
worked.
think she worked at the telephone company.
Yes, she?
I think that's what they said.
Have a telephone company there?
In Washington.
Oh, okay. That's-
I don't think remember much, but I know went to a wake up there in Washington one night. Carried Mom up there. He went there and looked at her, because I had never seen them people before. Mama said, "You remember her, wouldn't you?" She said, "I haven't seen them since before I got married." I said, "No, I don't remember nothing about her."
But she always had a habit of doing that, anyhow. You remember so like I say, they were dead 30 years before we were born, so, you know, hard to remember people that.
Who was fellow Bushwood, Bill Thrall?
Bushwood.
Yeah, so I took, Captain and Miss Gladys Hall and Miss Lil Wood.
Oh my God, that's
When he was
nice.
laid out up at Mattingly Funeral Home. So we walked in there at night and, of course, Daddy and Miss Lilna hadn't seen them people for years. So, I don't know if it was the man's wife or daughter or something come over. It got Captain, Miss Lil and them, got almost up to the casket, said, "Get up, Bill, and see who's here to see you." Captain said, I start moving back.
Well, when you were dating, where did you go out on a date then? I mean, what was the typical date?
I'm a wigwam or Medley's Neck or
Hill's Club.
movies or something like that.
Movies in
Moonlight
Leonardtown?
Club, huh?
Movies in Leonardtown?
Movies in Leonardtown, yeah.
How about you, Lucille? What did
The old come, it was having,
Hold on.
they had dances there, and I'd help Mom in the dining room just so I could go out and dance.
Did you go to movies down Avenue?
Huh?
Did you go
Yeah.
to movies down Avenue?
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know about
You
movies.
might have been
They,
too
they,
old.
they had two theaters there, didn't they?
Yeah, yeah. How about Cat, where'd y'all go out on a date?
We hung out at Hills Club.
Hills Club, yeah.
Like I said, we went to the movies. Our Sunday drives were to go up to Clinton to that little IHOP place up there, you know.
Schuler's.
Renegade.
Schuler's?
Schuler's.
Schuler's.
Yeah.
Where they had the girls on the roller skates come out and take your order. We thought that was a big deal on Sunday. Go up there and get a sandwich.
What's a big deal?
Just to go to Waldorf was a big deal then.
Yeah.
Eddie, what was the seventh district like when you were a youngster?
Well, I guess it's just about like it is now. We were a pretty close-knit bunch of young fellows. We used to travel together a lot, like a pack of dogs, really. And we were going out. The place to go before I got married was Cobb Island. But you better carry a pack of dogs over there with you when you went. They had a pack of dogs over there.
What were some of the businesses back early part of '70s? Who ran?
Well, it used to be about, what, 25 bar rooms in the
I
seventh
think I
district?
counted one time 27 that used to be in the
27 used to be in there?
Liquor license.
Liquor
Liquor
license,
license.
but yeah.
Yeah, now we got, what, 3?
You probably got half a dozen.
And maybe, yeah.
Well, we used to go grocery store at, because Tom Lacey had the store then, and George Quaid's. That was our grocery store. Because Colts Point had groceries back then too. Frank Lawrence, he had a grocery store.
Butterfields ran, they used to have dances down there too.
When I first started driving, I was about 14 probably. And I used to deliver whiskey in the school bus after they got finished the school bus in the evening. We'd come back home, we'd load whiskey in that and deliver it. Down in the seventh, now I didn't go very far, but I didn't want a cop getting me.
You know, Kat was saying she drove the school bus for 50 years. Well, I was out of school when she was driving it, but Bob and Dad, we didn't have some bad school buses when I went to school.
Yep.
I mean, you didn't get to school every day on time. And of course, somebody, Ambrose be drinking a little bit, you went in the ditch too. But then we were like an old 38 Ford and then it's old white that we had and the ones that Daddy bought them buses to run down on the base.
Yeah.
And of course, you could use them for school, everything else. I'll tell you, we had some bad stuff. A lot of them you had to have two people on, a driver and a mechanic. You knew where you were going.
You know, speaking of that, one of our first remembrance of Cat was somebody was riding the bus, I forget who, it might have been Ambrose. Bus broke down, and next thing you know, Cat pulled up in a car and put 5 or 6 of us in there, and she'd come back a little later and pick up 5 or 6 more, and that's how we got to school that day.
I'll tell you a story I like about school buses, and it wasn't even ours. It was Captain Frank. Captain Frank drove that school bus a long time. So after he went up and had his eyes operated on, he come back and asked Captain, said, when did they put that white line down the road?
I tell you, if Captain Frank was still around today, they'd have him locked up, cause I know he always put me off bus at least once a week, he'd make me walk.
Put Eddie off twice we didn't.
No, and Dora Morgan.
Oh.
Dora was driving it then. And of course, Patsy Downs, she knew Dora had apples underneath the seat on that bus. And of course, we were coming up through Penarine one day, and I swear to Christ, I hadn't said a word to her. All of a sudden, she breaks out crying. Little Dora stops the bus. What's wrong with you, sis? Eddie hit me. I ain't even close to her. I touched her. By God, he goes on the seat, gets her an apple, puts my ass off in Penarine, and I have to go home. But she knew the system.
The first
Hey,
bus
God, I can tell you one thing. I did hit her. Not dead, but I did get her.
I wonder why those buses seem to break down in the evening. See, they didn't break down in the morning, it seems like.
Well, buses, I got
Tell you one
tired.
thing, the big buses the first buses Daddy had to break down in the morning too. They were subject to break down anytime.
The first bus
Oh,
I
yeah,
was
he
on,
was
they
a-
had a little oil heater up front. They didn't have any, they had one of those little round
different.
oil
But
heaters.
one thing you have to say about Captain, he wasn't scared to try anything.
That's right.
I mean, he's been in a many businesses. He's put a lot of different people in business.
Well, if it hadn't been
which
for
thing-
Daddy and Mr. Phil Dorsey, we wouldn't have had school buses in St. Mary's County. They started the Catholic school buses.
Lucille, you remember that night that you all invited us up? We were going to eat crab and you all told us to stop by the house and get a drink before we left when you lived up on the farm,
You been,
Joe Farr. Yeah.
Matter?
That's the night we went, yeah, that's the night we went over to Carlisle and got over there. And we had your potato salad and stuff like the icebox. We set that on the table.
No. One day,
I know we was gonna tell them now.
Bo and I were going up Chapco Wharf and buying oysters up there. So Joe and Wally Kowalski and them were hunting, rabbit hunting out there, side the road. So stopped by. Joe said, "You want a rabbit?" I said, "Yeah, I want some rabbits." So Joe gave us a couple rabbits. So we went on down to Chapco Wharf, come back out, we stopped by Lucille's house. And said, Joe told us bring them over here and get the ones that's already clean. so but that's what Lucille gave us, just clean ones.
That chap could cuss too.
Thinking back on your very early days, who ran the discipline in the house? Who was the
Mama.
Wasn't no doubt. Well, first place, Daddy wasn't home. Daddy was like we were when we come along. We were out there trying to make a dime, and Daddy was out all the time trying to. I mean, you didn't see him sometime. You'd be in bed when he got home, but Dad, Mama wasn't up when you got anywhere.
If you were going to sleep, you were in bed by the time Captain got home. He is right down the road from us from Baltimore. I used to drive him back and forth. And I knew that going well. He would stop 3 or 4 times coming down the road and go in the bar at Upper Marlboro was his big one. He'd stop there every night, treat the whole bar, and he was drinking them little short beers. And somebody want to buy him one back? No, we don't have time. We got to go.
But they wait for him.
They wait for him.
every night. He gonna stop there.
Do any of y'all remember when he had the business down at Bushwood, the truck house and so on?
Some of them old people might. That was back in the
Lucille
20s,
probably
man.
does.
They,
Truck house.
Truck house
28, I
Mall.
think.
No.
no, I don't think
God, that's a
I
young boy, you think I remember?
I don't
no,
know.
I don't remember that.
No.
Lucille been Yoni Hope.
Yep, I still don't remember. The bees is gone.
visually remember that.
Anything else you would like to discuss before we adjourn, or?
No,
Thank you.
you call me tomorrow morning, I'll tell you some stuff.
Don't want to give you the chance to tell no stories there, though.
Yep.
All right, so, we'll call it a day then, and I think it's been a
Thank you.
nice conversation.